Spoiler alert. The number one mistake that you're going to make in retirement is not running out of money. But we're going to talk about what that number one thing is. Hi, I'm Nick Yeomans, your retirement coach. Today we're going to talk about that number one biggest retirement mistake you could make and what to do about it. What's far more dangerous than potentially running out of money, inflation, taxes, healthcare costs? The number one mistake that people make entering into retirement, retiring without purpose. Now, I know you might be thinking, I wanted to learn more about retirement plan rules. I wanted to learn about constructing a better portfolio. I wanted to learn about the new tax law. Stay with me. I promise you, this is time well spent. The people who really struggle most in retirement, they're not broke. They're bored. In the book, Halftime, I like how Bob Buford frames this. We're about to move from success to significance. So let's explore how to frame that, how to put together your purpose plan to really avoid this number one biggest mistake in retirement. In our career life, many of us learn how to play the game of accumulating wealth, of being successful in our chosen profession or career. And the thing is, we didn't really learn how to build upon purpose, to build upon the calling beyond what we were doing in our day-to-day life. You know, raising a family, being an excellent spouse, and maybe an occasional round of golf. Speaking of golf, I want to tell you the story of a client. His name's Jim, fake name. And Jim was an executive here in Atlanta, big company you would know the name of. Jim had put off a lot of pleasure in his life, sacrificing it to become a really top-level C-level executive. So as Jim gets excited, he's going to retire in his late 50s. He says, Nick, I know what I'm going to do in retirement. I said, what, Jim? I'm excited for you. This is really exciting. He says, Nick, I'm going to golf every single day. I said, Jim, that's ambitious. He said, okay, if we have a torrential downstorm, if we have tornadoes, if we have snow, I'm not going to golf, but otherwise I'm golfing every day. I said, I love the energy, but what else? He said, what do you mean what else? I said, well, what's beyond golf? Like, what else are you going to do to fill your time and make important relationships, all those fun, good things? He said, Nick, I don't think you understand. He said, I put off doing this for far too long. I've had new golf clubs and a new golf bag for over 20 years that I've used probably 5 times. And those were charity tournaments where I was invited to go play with somebody, and my schedule happened to allow it. I love the idea of golf. Every now and then I see the PGA on TV, and I get so excited. And I said, Jim, I really want you to be successful in retirement. I want you to enjoy golf. There's got to be more. He said, Nick, why don't we revisit this in 6 months? I'm going to go golf. I said, Jim, hit them long, hit them straight, buddy. Fast forward 6 months. The retirement plan's all laid out. Jim, he doesn't have a financial worry in this world. But he comes in. He says, Nick. I said, yeah. He said, I've got a problem. What's the problem? I said, are we slicing the ball too much? Are we running out of balls? What's going on? He says, no, serious, I've got a problem. And I said, okay, talk. He says, Nick, I've golfed almost every day since I last met you. I have, done a fantastic job of, really cutting my score. I am doing great. I said, that doesn't sound like a problem. Here's the problem. There's got to be something more. I said, okay, Jim, let's talk. Come to find out, Jim has an entrepreneurial spirit about him. And that was suppressed a lot in his corporate life, but There is something more to Jim than just golf. And, Jim has tax problems. He's got all kinds of other things, but Jim needed more direction and he needed more purpose. And I know this is going to sound weird, but let me tell you something. Jim did get excited about something. You see, we started Jim off with a LLC. Jim started re-gripping golf clubs. Jim started making golf tax deductible as a marketing expense and taking clients out for re-gripping their golf clubs. Jim started going to golf conventions. Jim started traveling to golf tournaments all over the Southeast. Jim was enjoying retirement in a very different way, even though it still really circulated around that thing that he got so excited about as he entered into retirement: golf. Now, for you, maybe that's something different: culinary arts and cooking, baking. Maybe it is golf. Whatever that is, I promise you there's something more to it. And I think it's great to explore those conversations. Let's talk about the purpose plan, the 3 Ps. First, we're going to talk about passion. What is something in your life today that gives you energy? It motivates you. You get excited to wake up in the morning. It drives you. What is something, and maybe it's a new skill, maybe it's something that you want to learn to do, like gym, golf, okay? But there's probably something that you've suppressed in your life that you've always wanted to do. I had another client, and he might be listening, so this is for you, Sailor Joe. He had always wanted to sail. It was a lifelong dream. He had put it to the side for over 30 years. But his retirement life involved him learning how to sail and to find out if he really did like sailing. And he does. He's passionate about it. He moved because of his passion around sailing. And now that gives him great fulfillment in his life. What's that thing for you? Then there's the people part of our life, the people part of our, purpose plan. Our relationship life is so, so important. If I was to ask you to write down the top 10 relationships in your life and score them 1 to 10, 1 worst, 10 best, in terms of where you think that relationship is today, would you have any 6s, 5s, 4s? Heaven forbid lower than that if it's a top 10 relationship. What could you do to put some effort behind making those relationships even better? And lastly, plan. We need to have intentionality in our days. What's our plan for the day? What is the top 3 things we need to do today that's going to get us excited, and at the end of the day, we're going to feel really fulfilled? So if we apply these 3 Ps to our life, I really do think you're going to have so much more contentment, and I promise you, you're going to feel so much more fulfilled. Having a purpose plan is so important. I want to coach you. Get out that piece of paper. Get your pen ready. Write down, what is the passion? Who are the people? And what's the plan? It's going to be an exercise well worth your time. If you're ready to design that purpose plan, that purpose-driven retirement, I'd love to walk by you and help coach and guide you through making those really important lists and really designing a retirement that you're going to love. Connect with us. Connect at yourretirementcoach.com. Thanks for joining us today, and thanks for staying coachable.